If I told you that a single Roblox game once had more players online at the same time than Fortnite, Counter-Strike, and a lot of other games, you probably wouldn't believe me. But that actually happened, and that game was Grow a Garden. At its peak, Grow a Garden didn't just dominate Roblox, it dominated gaming as a whole. Tens of millions of players were online at once, the game had billions of visits, and the level of hype that Roblox had was just not seen before like how it was on this game. And if we fast forward to today, that story is looking very different. So the player count has collapsed, the hype is gone, and the community is split between the OG players who miss the old times and the people who are just completely done with Grow a Garden and have quit for good. So what happened, you may ask? Well, how did Grow a Garden rise higher than any other Roblox game and then fall this hard? That is what we will be breaking down today. And before we start, if you guys enjoy this type of information about Roblox games and the trends that are happening and the history behind them, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. This is MoneyRBLX. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So the launch that changed Roblox forever, it was Grow a Garden, and it officially released in April of 2025. And almost immediately something felt different. It wasn't just another simulator or a regular cash grab, it felt like a new, fresh, fully built game. And the core gameplay was pretty simple, so you grow plants, build your garden, and then buy seeds from a shop that is always refreshing. But what made it special is how the shop worked. Instead of having everything available all at the same time, the store kept rotating every few minutes. Rare seeds would appear randomly, and if you weren't there at the right moment, then you missed out. That single mechanic created urgency. So people weren't just playing, they were waiting. They were checking their timers, joining servers over and over again, and coordinating with friends just to make sure they're getting the rare restocks. It was addictive in a way that Roblox games usually aren't. Then the updates started coming in. Every single Saturday, Grow a Garden hosted massive events, which were admin abuses, rare restocks, limited time items, insane effects, and every time one of these events happened, the player count just skyrocketed. At first it was a few 100,000 players, then it was a million, then it was several million, and eventually it hit over 20 million players online at once. That number is hard to even comprehend. Before Grow a Garden, most Roblox games struggled to pass a few 100,000 concurrent players. Even Roblox's biggest titles rarely crossed a million active players. And Grow a Garden didn't just cross it, it literally obliterated it. For months it stayed at the top, pulling hundreds of thousands of people and hundreds of millions of visits per day, climbing to over 30 billion total visits. It wasn't just viral, it wasn't just like cultural, even people who didn't play Roblox knew what Grow a Garden was. So why did Grow a Garden work so well? Well, the secret wasn't just luck. Grow a Garden succeeded because it appealed to everyone. You didn't need skill, you didn't need fast reactions, and you didn't need experience. Anyone could play and learn. So at the same time, there was depth for hardcore players with the rare seeds, mutations, perfect gardens, and the flex potential, and it felt rewarding to grind but relaxing to play at the same time. And for a while that balance was perfect. But then there was a problem with the weekly updates. So this is where things were getting wrong. So weekly updates, it does sound amazing until you realize how hard that is to maintain. In the early days, updates brought real changes like new systems, trading, new mechanics, and gameplay variety. But after months of non-stop development, something had changed. The updates started feeling smaller, less creative, and more repetitive. So instead of people being excited for the Saturdays that were upcoming, players started beginning to expect that, it might just be the same thing coming up. And then players were frustrated, and this disappointment was getting worse and worse. At a certain point, the community was not grateful anymore, they wanted to demand for more, and that is dangerous for any game. Then there was a restock system, and this turned against the casual players. The rotating shop was genius, but it had a downside. If you didn't play consistently, you're going to fall behind. If you miss a rare seed, well, you might never see it again. Casual players couldn't just hop on and progress. They had to track the restocks, set notifications, maybe put an alarm on, and for a lot of players that turned into be something that's pretty annoying. Some people even started buying seeds through third-party websites, and this only hurt the game's reputation even more. When players feel punished for not playing a lot, they eventually just quit and stopped playing at all. The feature that destroyed trust. One of the most controversial mechanics was the plant stealing. For a small amount of Roblox, players could steal any plant from another person's garden, even the most rare ones. That means hours, sometimes days of grinding could be taken away instantly. And instead of showing off their gardens, players started hiding in private servers. So a game that was built around creativity and showing off your garden suddenly punished you for sharing your progress. So people were just buying this thing for a small amount of Robux where they can steal everyone's rarest items. And once that trust has gone, it's impossible to build it back in the case of the developers. Grow a Garden's success did not go unnoticed. Other Roblox developers began copying its formula, so other games are adding rotating shops, admin abuse events, limited time items, and fake hype. Soon the platform was flooded with similar games, and once that special feel became something that was common, then the players start to feel that they're getting the same experience everywhere else, and the loyalty disappears fast. Grow a Garden didn't just create a trend, it saturated too much and ruined it completely. Now let's go ahead and talk about the school schedules and the burnout. So around September, another shift happened. So school started back up, and Grow a Garden's biggest events always happened at certain times that were usually during when school was happening. So if you missed the event, you miss everything else. And on top of that, there was inconsistent scheduling and last minute changes that frustrated players even more. So kids would wake up, some people would even miss school or go to school late just so they can make it to the event. But then things happened to where sometimes the events would get delayed. This caused the trust to drop even more, and people were getting burnt out from it. So did Grow a Garden really fall off? Well, it has not fully fell off, but its era has ended. Grow a Garden wasn't just a game, it was a moment. It showed how big Roblox could be. It proved that simple ideas can reach massive heights, and it exposed how fragile hype really is. Roblox games aren't built to last forever. They usually have a peak, and they can survive for a good amount of time, but always they will eventually fall off. They rise, they explode, and then they slowly fade away. That is the cycle. As for my final thoughts, could Grow a Garden make a comeback? And I'm just gonna have to say maybe. Big updates, better pacing, and rebuilding the trust could bring some players back, especially during breaks or summertime. But even if it never reaches those heights again, there is a legacy that has been left behind. Grow a Garden will always be remembered as the game that went further from any other Roblox game. It had reached new heights that no one else has ever seen, and that alone makes it legendary. So what do you think? Was the fall off inevitable, or did the developers just make mistakes that could have been avoided? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. This has been MoneyRBLX. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be pushing out a bunch of new content. Comment, what game I should cover next. This has been MoneyRBLX, and again, I'll see you guys in the next video.